Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Let me turn this audio down a little bit. Alright, if the music's too loud, let me know. Otherwise, it's just going to be in the background. So the purpose of today's stream is basically in anticipation for my next video, which I talked about a little bit on Twitter. I'm going to kind of give an overview of all the different authentication methods that Laravel 8 has now. So you got Breeze and Jetstream, which are basically application starter packages. You have Fortify, Sanctum, which is for API authentication for like SPAs. You have Passport if you want to have a whole OAuth 2 setup. And then you have Socialite for things like authentication with Google, Facebook, GitHub, that kind of stuff. So basically my next video is just going to be, I'm going to try to keep it brief, probably about 5 minutes for each of those, so a total of 30 minutes. Really quick overview, basically, what is this what is this authentication package? What is it used for? Like, what are some good use cases for that? What kind of apps could you build with that, or would you want to build with that? How to get it installed, what a configuration looks like for it, and then jump right into here's a basic example app using it. So I'm not going to show you a lot of building the app. I'm going to show you basically how to get it installed, and then the endpoint. This is a really basic app. This is how it works in an application. So today I'm just going to kind of play around. Use WL space folder location instead of mount C. I did not know there was a difference. I'll have to find out what that path is. If you know what it is, just dump it in the chat and I'll work with that. Thanks for that. But yeah, so today I'm just gonna kind of play around with Laravel Breeze, as you can see in my folder there. I've never personally played with it yet, so this is going to be a learning experience for both you and me. I'm just gonna tinker with it, see what it looks like, and go from there, because we're going to be using this content in the next video. First things first, though, I have nothing set up right now. I have Docker running in the background, and I'm on WSL2, so I'm just going to get a blank Laravel app set up in this directory, and then open it up in PHP Storm. Let's clone my Docker Compose Laravel setup. And I don't know if anyone of you saw it, but I have a new keyboard, so I'm not sure if you'll hear the difference from my last one. I think I like this sound a little bit better. It's a little heavier and quieter sounding, but still clicky, so let me know if you like it. Get rid of that readme that's in there, and then compose up, build, site. No, Docker Compose, up, build, compose, Docker Compose, build composer. That's what I want. And then Docker Compose. If I could type, would be great. Run rm composer, create project, Laravel in the root directory. I'm just going to create our Laravel project in that Laravel Breeze SRC directory. Hope everyone's day is going good. Everyone's Saturday. It's cold here in Florida, but nice. I'll take it. I prefer the cold over the heat. Composer still takes a little bit of time when running through Docker, even on this machine that I'm using this on, but still faster than Composer 1 by a long shot. Oop, I gotta plug my other laptop in. Hold on one second. Okay, that's the one that all the chats are running on. If that goes dead, I don't know what you guys are gonna be talking about. Come on. Okay, all done. Finally. So next, I need to edit the Docker Compose file because that's still running on 8080 by default. I just want to run it on 80. I'm just use Nano real quick. Am I in the wrong directory? Why isn't this here? Vim instead. And Docker Compose up build site. And of course Docker Compose crashes. For some reason WSL doesn't like Docker Compose and I have to reboot. I don't know if you remember my last stream, me trying to figure out what was going on with this. This is what it is I have to bring up the command line again in order for Docker Compose to run right. So yeah, I think I'm gonna move everything to that sites directory, Johnny. Hello, thanks for joining from India. Sites, Laravel Breeze, and Docker Compose. Up build site. While that's going on too, I'm going to bring this guy over here. I'm going to edit, I guess I can't. In the background, I'm going to be editing my host file and adding a fake domain name into here. Hey Ryan, thanks for joining. Am I using Laravel Sail? I am not. I am using my kind of homegrown version of a Laravel Docker local environment. It's the one that I've used in my YouTube videos before. It's called just Docker Compose Laravel on GitHub. I only use it because I am very much well aware of like all the intricacies of it. Because I built it from scratch, but I have used Sail to get a new project started up. I really like it. I'm really happy that they have put Docker in the mainstream Laravel environment finally. Hopefully we can get away from Vagrant. I know some people love Vagrant. I don't at all. I've used it in the past, not a fan, but I do like Docker a lot, and I'm happy that it's there. Hello from Denmark. Hello. I know like 2 Danish words, and I can't think of what they are now, so I apologize. Okay, perfect. Now if everything went through successfully, we should see Laravel breeze.test as a Laravel site. Perfect. Look at that. So now let's actually get Breeze installed. Let's take a look at the documentation for it. Which this is a minimal and simple starting point for building a Laravel application with authentication. Styled with Tailwind, it publishes authentication controllers and views that can be easily customized based on your own application's needs. So essentially what this package is if you remember back in like the Laravel, when did they take the auth package away? I think they stopped using it in 7, so 6 and before that. Laravel used to come with its own like authentication framework, not necessarily framework, but like it had a couple published views that you could use. It had like a registration view, a login view, password recovery, email verification, and they were all styled like like the original, or like the older Laravel apps used to be styled out of the box, which I think was using Bootstrap. But they scrapped that and started creating these separate packages that you could pull into your application if you didn't want to have their authentication. So this kind of replicates that a little bit, at least from what I've seen, but it uses Tailwind now instead of Bootstrap, since that's what the entire Laravel environment basically uses out of the box now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this set up. Laravel, you need to run this composer install and then PHP artisan breeze install. So let's get these two functions, or these two commands, added. Instead of composer, that we're going to be DCR composer for Docker compose run. I always thought you were developing under Mac OS. For my videos, I use Mac OS, but for her streaming plus PHP Storm plus Docker plus all the other stuff that I'm running on this, my computer bogs down a lot, so the stream would suffer or something would suffer. So I use my gaming PC for this. My MacBook isn't that new, otherwise I would use that, but it's also kind of fun. Windows has come a long way, I'm not gonna lie. I like developing on Windows a little bit now, so that's what I'm here. All right, that was fast. So now what is it? It is artisan breeze install. So just like composer, we're gonna use DCR. Artisan, actually I think I might have to build that first, but I haven't built it yet with this. Yeah, definitely going to change it up in the next project. I'm sure it'll be a lot speedier than this. Well, that's going on. Let me open up the project and oh, all right, that was done. Artisan Breeze install. But I'm gonna go ahead and open up this project in PHP Storm. And it's responded back. Please execute npm install and npm run dev to build the assets. Let me build that npm first. So it uses an image, never mind. Right, dcr npm install. All right, well, that's doing its thing. Let me read some of this documentation. That's all there is. Let's see if the actual official Laravel site has anything more. Starter kits. Breeze. All right, we got that install done. We got that. Next, you may navigate to your application's login or register. Oh, so it already populates that in there. Nice. So that should be all we have to do to get an authentication set up. I wonder if it... So I guess I don't have to do anything with migrations or anything, which is great. Hello, welcome for joining. Glad you're here. And this is definitely casual stream. I mean, if you have any questions about anything regarding Laravel, web development, my setup, anything in general, please feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to answer as much as possible. Good morning, Samuel. It's almost evening here in Florida in the United States, but good morning. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming. Alright, npm install, ran fine, npm run dev, get those assets built. So I wonder if it makes any changes to the webpack file. Yeah, it looks like it puts in Tailwind, auto prefixer, post CSS import. And, I want to get rid of this. I don't necessarily want all this Git stuff showing up. That's because I cloned that compose the Docker Compose project into the directory. That should be better. Johnny said it's 11:17 p.m. where he is. That's late. Hello from Montreal. Hello. I appreciate that, Samuel. Thank you for the compliment. That means a lot. Helps keep me doing what I'm doing. Oh, this is This is new. This little screen right here. I don't think I've used the newest version of Mix. I like this. This is a lot better than the output that it used to have. Awesome. Okay, so now they're saying, oh, let me run the migrations on our app. Oh, I did not update the MySQL env file. Those migrations are not going to run. Yeah, did not expect that to run. All right, let's open up env file. We gotta change out db host to MySQL, homestead, and secret. All right, now let's run those again and see what happens. Turn the mic volume up a little bit. Yeah, no problem. Let me actually scoot this a little bit closer to my face too, that might help. And I'll turn this audio volume down a little bit too, so you can help, or it can help you hear. All right, those migrations were done. Perfect. So now we should just have a login and registration route. Let's check that out. Yeah, wow, okay, that was really easy. Okay, so what happens if we go to this register route? All right, it's asking for a name, an email, password, and a confirmed password. So let's try Andrew, test at example.com. Just type in some random password and register. This view is really nice too. I like this. It's really simple, clean, and everything went through fine. It even gives us a dashboard route right here. That's really nice and clean. Logout function right here, or route, dashboard. I wonder, so let's take a look and see. Why is this over here? I don't know how long that's been like that. That bar on the right side or left side. All right, let's see what it gave us. All right, we have this. We have a new auth routes file. We got a registration log, a register route, which only shows up if you're a guest. Same with the login. Same with forgot password. Reset password with the token. Verify email. Email verification notification. I don't know what that does. I'm assuming send out some notification if you want to be notified. If you want to be notified of someone's email was verified or not. Confirm password, and logouts. And then on the web PHP file, we have all those routes here at the bottom. We have a dashboard route. So all we have is that dashboard route. There's nothing else is added in there. Resources views. Let's see here. We got a dashboard belay template now, which looks like it's using Livewire here with that app, the X app layout. Either that or it's just using Laravel components. I really haven't had the time or desire to dive into that much. I work mostly with Vue when it comes to JavaScript. But it looks like it's a Livewire component. And then for the layouts, we have guests, which is if you're not logged in, I'm assuming. Navigation, which is just that navigation menu here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is using the Livewire components here with the X slot and the X drop down and then this X data here. Pretty sure that's Livewire. So what happens is that the navigation is normally closed. Then we have these xnav links here which go to a route. So the dashboard, is it one large Livewire application, kind of? And there's the there's a form for the logout route here, which it's a post instead of just a a link. Very cool. Components. Okay, so I guess these are all the... I really want to know if this is a Blade component or if this is a Livewire component, so I don't keep misspeaking here. Oh, it's using Laravel Blade components. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's something that I haven't had the excuse to like dive into. I really want to. Ever since they came out with it, it seems kind of neat. Just haven't had the time or desire really. But yeah, so, okay, so I'll take a look into it now. So we have this. Let's go back to our navigation route here, and we have where we have an X application logo. So I'm assuming that connects to this application logo component here, which is just an SVG graphic. I'd like to know though how, all right, this nav X data works. Is this a Livewire object here, or is this native Laravel, this X data? The last series from Laracast helps a lot with the auth scaffolding with Breeze and Jetstream. Nice, nice. Yeah, his videos are the absolute best. Jeffrey Way, everything that's actually how I learned Laravel in the first place, was through those their free Laravel 4 Getting Started series back a few years ago. Okay. So then we have the nav link here, which I'm assuming is these up here, this dashboard link. But it's this that I'd like to know how it's displayed or not. Is this drop down here for the name to go to the logout link? So that is gotta be this X drop down here. X slot name is trigger. Button, does it have like a, does it have any kind of trigger? I'm assuming that's what the X slot is for. So I'm assuming the trigger calls then the content slot here and swaps it out for the link to log out. Responsive navigation menu. So there's two different menus depending on whether or not you're in mobile or desktop view. So if we inspect and go to a mobile screen, oh yeah, it's completely different. I like that a lot. I don't speak one of the Slavic languages. I wish I did. I wish I spoke more than one language. It would be very helpful. But unfortunately, English is all I can even have a basic conversation in. X data is Alpine. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so this is an Alpine and Laravel Blade components setup here with this whole dashboard. That is good to know. All right, so I'd like to see then, all right, so we have registration, but the registration didn't require me to validate or verify my email before visiting the dashboard, which is something that, oh, it also added this little login register with links up here. That's nice. That's something that I kind of would like to have in my application. Is sometimes I don't want users to be able to access their dashboard until they verified an email. It's just, you know, I want to make sure that that email is theirs. So I wonder if there's any kind of configuration that comes with that. I mean, there's probably a guard or something that you can just add in to determine if the user has a verified email address or not. I don't see anything specific to Breeze. Let's see if anyone else has talked about it. We have a Laracast discussion here. We have email verification docs right on the Laravel documentation. Why is this giving me 5.7? Before getting started, verify that your app model user model implements a must verify email contract. Once this interface has been added, newly registered users will be automatically sent an email containing an email verification link. That is awesome. As you can see by examining your applications, event service provider, the listener has already been added in. Database preparation. All right, we already have that verified email, or email verified column. So I wonder if any data has been added in for our user. And I wonder if actually our user model has that already tacked in because of that Breeze installation. Nope, just has factory and notifiable. Let's open up the database here. And let's open up the schema homestead users table. All right, yeah, all we have is we don't have anything in the email verified column. All we have is a password or member token. You'd like to get my settings of PHP Storm? Yeah, that's a question I get asked pretty often. So the same settings I'm using here, it was a little difficult to get it matching the way that I use it on my videos, but it should be similar. The color is different because for some reason the highlight color on this package that I'm using doesn't play well with Windows or Linux for that matter. It only plays well with Mac OS for some reason. Even if I change this highlight color here, it'll still be this blue color, which I don't mind it, but I'm a really big fan of the like bright magenta that I use in my videos. But everything else should be the same. I've removed a lot of the visual like stuff that PHP Storm has on by default, bottom bar, sidebar stuff, which I can just access by double tapping Alt, and you'll see like this is all usually shows up by default. I have that removed. I think I have something else removed in this top navigation bar. It makes it more open for me, especially when I'm doing stuff like streaming or recording videos when my screen's kind of small here so that you can see the text better. It's nicer to have nothing in the way of that. The font is called Fira font, and it uses code ligatures, which means that if I type things like triple equals, there it looks like a solid character instead of 3 separate equal signs. Same with like arrows, not equals shows up like that, not equals equals shows up with 3 lines. It makes it for a cleaner code experience. You could definitely tell this is an arrow as opposed to 2 separate characters, and it looks pretty cool. And then the color scheme and all the schemes and everything is something called Material Theme UI, I think is what it's called, or Material UI Theme. It's a package that you can install on PHP Storm, and then it gives a bunch of different color schemes. This one is Atom 1 Dark. I have everything in that on my personal website though, under my uses section. So if you go to ashmelian.com/uses, you'll get more information about that. My name and surname combination is typically Slavic. It's funny you mentioned that. So I've tried to trace my ancestry. I mean, Shmelian is an insanely rare last name that I've found. If you Google my last name, you're only really going to find me or people who I'm directly related to. And we've tried to trace it back. The closest we can get is I had family from Germany and Poland, I think, or Germany and the former Yugoslavia. One of those countries had come over a while back, over 100 years ago. And before that it's really hard to trace it because we're not sure if the spelling was changed whenever they came over to the United States, because it's such a strange pronunciation. There's a lot of last names that I've seen that have the same pronunciation as mine, just a different letter. So it'd be like ION instead of YUN or something like that. So we're not sure if those are direct relations, and they just, it's whatever someone's like said, oh, this sounds like this is how it should be spelled, and spelled it out. And so that's what we're legally stuck with. How did I come up in Laravel? Please tell us to start. Or how come you ended up in Laravel? So originally I worked in WordPress. That's how I got my start in web development to begin with, was building WordPress blogs and sites for family, some friends. This was more than 10 years ago. And so that's how I got started in PHP. I wanted to learn more about actually building applications, and WordPress was kind of the bottleneck point. I really, as much as I tried, you can't build exactly a lot of apps with just WordPress. So I started learning vanilla PHP and got a little familiar with that. This, I think, was around the time PHP 5 was the most popular, and then, or 5.4. And then through a Reddit thread or someone posting on Twitter, I don't remember how it came about, but someone was talking about this new, exciting, popular PHP framework that's supposed to make building applications really simple and really straightforward, and it was called Laravel. So I found Laracasts and watched the entire Getting Started series on Laravel 4, pumped out a couple of test apps, and just absolutely fell in love with the framework. Ended up continuing to build stuff through it, found jobs that use it, and have just been working in the framework ever since. I've tried a couple different PHP frameworks. I've tried Cake, I've tried Symfony, which isn't really a framework, but it's more like components. I've tried CodeIgniter, and Laravel is hands down the best. So I'm happy that I'm in it. How would you authenticate an API with authentication header? It depends on what you're using it for. If I'm using it for a single page application or a mobile app, I'm gonna go with Sanctum. It's the easiest thing to get started with now. You install the package for the most part. You update your env file with where your authentication cookies are going to be coming from, or whether it's authenticated from just the API token. And when you post a login route for your user, you'll just get back either the token that you can store as a cookie, and it'll do that automatically if you're doing it through like an SPA or a web browser, or you'll get back an API token which you can pass in as a bearer token in the authentication header. If you ever used Timon's JWT auth package, which I did a video on in one of my first videos, it kind of replaces that whole package, in my opinion. It works more seamlessly, and it's way easier to install and get it set up since it's already coming from the Laravel ecosystem. Do I know something about React PHP? No, I don't. I've heard that tossed around a lot recently, though, and I have it on my list to look into, but I haven't had a chance to look into it yet. Okay. Where was I? All right, so we have our users table here. I want to figure out how to verify, how to get an email verification email sent to a user. So Laravel's documentation is telling me I add in this must verify email contract and implement it in our user model. So let's try that out here. Oh, it's already added in right there. So all we have to do is implements must verify email. So now let's try to register a new user and see what happens. I don't know if that's going to guard it against anything or not. Let's use Andy. And register. It actually might bog out. I just realized there's no email client set up for this application right now. Oops. So Mailhog. I've never heard of that before. Is that the new Laravel? Do they go away from Mailtrap? Web and API-based SMTP testing. Download and run Mailhog. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, well, let's see if we can get that started. Hope you guys don't mind this little offshoot here. I've never used this before, so let's see what we have to do to get this up and running. Brew update. I'm not on Brew. Docker. Run it from Docker Hub or use the provided Docker file. So do we just run it? Is there a port that it needs to be on? Mailhog Docker example. Tutorial would have probably been better. Using Mailhog via Docker for email testing. Let's see what Rob Allen's dev notes has to say. Quickest and easiest way to do this is via Docker. Docker run, give us some ports. All right, so let's try that out. Let's go and open up a new folder here, or a new window. Unable to find image locally, so it's gonna pull it. Mailhog was introduced with Laravel sale. Mailhog is amazing. I mean, this sounds pretty great, especially because it's on my local system. I've been using Mailtrap for years to do my email testing, but it's a little difficult to get set up at first. What do you use for local domains, local DNS, any special tool like hotel app or manual host manipulation? On this system, I'm doing manual host manipulation. It's just I'm running one app at a time. I don't care about SSL for the most part. This is really just me doing demos, so I'm just manipulating the host file and saving it to whatever test domain. I usually use a .test domain. But then if I'm running like multiple applications, or if I'm actually like doing a lot of development locally, I've been using Traffic recently, which has been super helpful and useful. It runs through Docker and essentially masks DNS coming through, and you can set it up to where a different domain will go to a different container. So I can have an API app and a front-end app running both on Docker on separate containers, and I can have Traffic controlling the domains for them, and which will allow me to set up things like cores and API authentication and getting cookies from the API layer and not having it, not resolved. Because if you weren't aware of this, it was something that I found out not too long ago, was that if you have a localhost domain and it's on a different port, Google and a lot of other modern browsers consider it a completely separate domain name. So they will block cross, like cross-domain cookies and not authentication, but headers and stuff like that by default, and we'll tell you about it. That was a fun 4 hours of debugging why my Sanctum application wasn't working. Java activity. I know absolutely nothing about Java Sky. I apologize. I've used it once for Android development. Excuse me, probably like 8 years ago. Never touched it since. I don't know anything about it, so I apologize. Samuel says, I think you can add it to your Docker Compose. Mailhog, that'd be actually, I'm gonna make a note of that. I'll probably add that to my Docker Compose Laravel repo and have that in by default. If Laravel is using Mailhog by default, which it looks like it is, I'd rather have that added in there by default as well. That way, everything's set up right there. It'd be a cool little addition to it. Are you okay with Windows on development with PHP? I am. The biggest pain so far has just been WSL and getting a lot of things to work. Sometimes Docker just breaks for some reason, Docker Compose won't be available. It might be the way I have everything set up under this Mount C directory, which Johnny was telling me that the best thing to do would just be, Johnny and some others were telling me the best thing to do would be to set it up in the native WSL home directory. So I'll probably do that for my next stream or when my next project is. But yeah, I mean, this computer that I built is fairly fast, so I don't see any issues with like performance. It's actually when I'm running Docker, the PHP like response time that I'm getting back is faster than on my Mac. So I'm happy about that. Still not as fast as Linux though, nowhere near, but okay, it looks like we have Mailhog set up. I'm not sure how to use this at all. How do you set up traffic for multiple projects? It resolved to the second, project's URL to the first. I'll probably have to do a video on that. It is really difficult. So the first time that I set up traffic, it took me like 8, 9, 10 hours to set up 2 different domains and getting them talking to each other, purely because the documentation is so spread out and it's not that succinct. There's not a lot of dashboard. So I guess it doesn't care that I don't have a verified email. It doesn't have a lot of use cases and really good examples behind it. I found a couple that worked in pieces, so I ended up having to kind of piece together my own from a couple different blog posts and YouTube videos. So I'll probably put together either a blog post or a video or both about how to get that set up for like a multiple domain PHP application or Laravel application. Let's try this again. And let's see if it connects to Mailhog. And if it does, I have no idea. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm expecting from this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even look at the emails or anything. Name does not resolve. Oh yeah, it's because I'm stupidly running it locally and not through our Docker network. So let's try this. Let's clear this out. Let's stop it from running. And let's see if we can get it running in our Docker Compose file. What is this? Oh, this is the Laravel apps Docker Compose file. Whoops. Okay, services site, MySQL page. Oh, I wonder if they have an example of Mailhog. They do. Perfect. Okay, so all we need is the image, a couple ports, and to go into our network. So let's just copy that, and we'll put that underneath our artisan service here. Mailhog, why is this? Property Mailhog is not allowed. Why is that not allowed? That's weird. Yeah, I don't know why it's giving that. Oh, because it's doing it as a property, not as a service. Oops. Okay. Network is Laravel. All right, so now I should be able to build that and bring it up. All right, Mailhog is up on the appropriate ports. The name is long though, but that shouldn't matter to the service name. So let's try this one more time and see if we can get an email sent out. Open up localhost 1025. That'll show where the emails are popping out at. Oh, it's not exposed. Let's try that. No, it should, yeah, it's exposing 1025 to my browser. What's this other port in here? 8025, is that? Okay, there we go. This is the UI. So I'm assuming 1025 is the like internal port that it's catching, and then 8025 is the UI for it. Okay, perfect. So now let's go to the dashboard and log out of this user. Let's get rid of all these boxes or these tabs up here that I don't need open right now. And register. Test 4 at example. Cannot send messages without a sender address. I also don't know why I said it like that. All right, so it's expecting a sender address. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. ENV value that we're missing, maybe? Yeah, mail from address. Hello at laravelbreeze.test. Mail encryption, mail password. It shouldn't matter. All right, now let's. Oh, mail from name, app name. Yeah, that'll just pull from the app name, so that's fine. All right, let's try this for a 5th time. Go to the dashboard. Log out. Register. And register. Fingers crossed, this is gonna work. Hey, all right, no error. Let's not save the password for here. And look at that, we have our caught email. We can verify our email address, which already has this lovely route generated for us. So now we verify. You're logged in and verified equals 1. So now I'm assuming if I go to my users database, yep, we see email verified at, email has been verified. So Laravel handles all of that email verification completely, in-house or out of the box. Okay. Fake form filler Chrome extension? I've never heard of that before. That's something I'm gonna have to add to my list, because that would come in definitely handy. I fill out so many fake forms on a regular basis. I'd like to know how the password reset functionality works though. Let's see, forgot my password. And my email was test5@example.com. Let's send that password reset link, and we should see that in Mailhog. We get the reset password notification, and let's reset our password. So we get a reset password route here with a token that I'm assuming was generated and put in the database. Yep, we got our token right here in the password resets table. And it already, this is really nice, it also already pre-filled in our email address. So all we have to do is type in a new password and confirm it, and it'll reset it for us. I wonder if it's going to log us in as well, or if it's just going to send us back to the login screen. Sends us back to the login screen with a nice little message here for us, so I can try out my new password. And I'm logged in. These new tools are really nice. Still want to learn more about Laravel components. Or the Blade components. That's the one piece of this whole thing that I'm kind of still wrapping my head around. It's all Greek to me. I have absolutely no idea what's going on there for the most part, other than the fact that it's pulling in components from a components directory. which I'm assuming someone says is by default, but it's just magic. It just pulls it in no matter what you like. If you just add it in there, you can refer to it as an x dash whatever component name it is, and it'll pull that data in. The Alpine part though is something else that I'm going to have to learn more about. To protect the dashboard route from being accessed by users who have not verified their email, you need to add verified middleware guard to the route. Auto login after password reset would be nice. Wonder why it's not built that way. I don't know. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to add in though. Instead of it probably redirects back to the login route. Instead, you just have to authenticate the user and kick them over to the dashboard. Any app that I built when I do my own authentication, I usually do that that way. I usually just have it because I mean, they're already accessed the email address. They've already set a password. It doesn't make sense for them to log in again. They should just go right to the dashboard. It's not even like a security issue because at that point they have to have access to the user's email address and know their password. So it makes no sense regardless. All right, let's try to do that, Samuel. Let's try to get that protected dashboard route for people who only have a verified email address. So you're saying that's it's a verified middleware. So I should be able to add this to the middleware array. So now let's try to log out. And I wonder what's going to happen because usually it would kick us over to the dashboard after the registration happens. So I wonder what's going to happen if we're not verified, if it's going to kick an error or if it's going to do something nice for us. Let's do andytests@example.com, password, and register. Oh, that is nice. Out of the box, this does this. This is perfect. Thanks for signing up. Before getting started, could you verify your email address by clicking on the link? We email it to you. If you didn't receive the link, we will gladly send you another. And you can either resend the verification email or log out. So we're logged in. We are logged in. If we go back to the test, the home page, you can see it says dashboard. If we try to go to the dashboard, though, it's going to redirect us to this verify email page. And any route that's underneath that verify middleware is going to send us here as well. That is, I really like that functionality. That is clean. All right, so now we can verify the email address. And I wonder if that's going to kick us right to the dashboard. It does. That's perfect. Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to be using Breeze in my next project. This saved me, like this saves so much time and everything's so much ingrained. This is exactly what I know a lot of people have been asking for, is something like this. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to cover about this. If any of you guys have any questions or anyone has any questions, please let me know. If there's anything you want to see about Laravel Breeze, let me know. I'm just going to play around with some two-factor authentication. I'm just going to play around with some views and blade templates or components. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Laravel has a two-factor authentication package. I don't know if it's official though, but I know someone has a 2FA Fortify. I don't think Breeze is used in Fortify. I think Jetstream uses Fortify. I know that it does, as that's why Fortify was created, was the back end of Jetstream. But I don't think Breeze uses it. To enable two-factor authentication, make a post request to the user two-factor. Yeah, we don't have any of these endpoints defined. I wonder if someone Fortify with Breeze. I wonder if someone's used Fortify with Breeze. you think he read breeze in here? In here? If I could spell it, that'd be great. You are not required to use Fortify in order to use Laravel's authentication features. Laravel Breeze. Unlike Fortify, Breeze publishes its routes and controllers directly into your application. I think that is, yeah, that's it. It's just showing, yeah, Laravel Fortify essentially takes the routes and controllers of Breeze and offers them as a package. It does not include a user interface. Yeah, so this, like I said, this Breeze is basically what Laravel had before this whole authentication breakout happened, and instead just includes it as a Tailwind / Blade components and Alpine scaffold here. Yeah, Fortify has 2FA right out of the box. Yeah, Fortify is going to be included in this next video. That's the one that I'm definitely going to have to do a lot of digging in. There's so much that I've seen that's been like, what's what I'm looking for, that there's so many features around that package that a lot of people have talked about, and I'm excited to dig into it. What video am I making? So my next video that I'm producing, I'm hoping to have it out sometime early next week. That's something that I wanted to do for the New Year's. I wanted to create videos on a more regular schedule and a more frequent schedule, as opposed to the 1 to 2 a month that I've been doing for the last year. I'm anticipating on doing 3 to 4 a month. And the next video is going to be an overview of all of the Laravel authentication options right now. So we have, I'm going to be showcasing 6 out of the box. We're going to have Breeze, which I showed you today, Sanctum, Fortify, Socialite, Fortify, and Breeze, and Jetstream. Did I say Fortify twice? Jetstream, Breeze, Fortify, Sanctum, Socialite, and Passport. Yep. So that's that'll be the next video. Each one will be about a 5-minute segment, broken down into what the package is, how to install it, how to configure it, what an application using that package looks like, and use cases for why you might want to use it. Pros and cons, basically, is so for instance, for Breeze, what we saw today, pros are super easy to get set up, super easy to get started. You could have a entire authentication scheme up and running in 10 minutes flat. It gives you login and registration views, gives you a verified email route that you can send people who are who are trying to access guarded routes to. It has a beautifully styled front end, a nice dashboard gets set up. Cons are, it doesn't include two-factor authentication out of the box. It doesn't include any kind of API authentication, I don't believe. So this is just basically going to be for Blade and Laravel dashboards is what you're going to be using this for. It uses Tailwind, which you might not want. If you have a Bootstrap application, this isn't going to be for you. And it uses Blade components and Alpine as well. So if you are anticipating on something with like Vue or anything like that, you might want to, again, look for an alternative or make it work for you. But I think this is a winner. I like Breeze a lot. I definitely think that I'm going to keep this on here. No pressure. I hope these streams can be regular. I hope so too. I'm trying to get on a more regular schedule when it comes to videos and streams in general. I don't like people who just hop in and out. I feel not necessarily bad, but I feel like it's not as serious as it would be if I said I'm gonna do this every Saturday at, I don't know, whatever time it is, 5 o'clock my time. My anticipation is basically to try to do one of these streams before I produce a new video. So you'll see it at least a couple times a month. So I'm going to try to do this. How is your Laravel Docker course going? It's going good. There's a couple, I've gotten mostly positive feedback. There's a couple hiccups with it that I'm working out, that I'm actually working out this weekend. The biggest one is that a lot of permissions issues on Windows have cropped up with WSL2 and not letting Docker Compose run, which you've seen today happen. So I'm working on a fix for that and getting that out. I'm also working on getting closed captioning up for all the videos as well. It'll be available in English as captions on all the videos and provided in a text file as well. But yeah, that's I think for the rest of this video, I'm just gonna try to play around with these blade components for a little bit and answer any questions that anyone might have. So as long as you don't mind that, you're welcome to stay and hang out. Header. Where's that header component at? Or what is header? Oh, I guess it's whatever's being passed in. So this is returning X app layout here. Oh, there's the slot name header. So that is populating this here. And the page content is just whatever's dumped in between here, just like slots are in Vue. So that's right here. I'd like to know what this guest layout is, though. Layouts.guest. So we have layouts.app. That I'm assuming is this X-app layout. We have this guest layout here. So I guess that is what is rendering it here with this slot. No, because this needs to be populated here. Have I played around with PHP Symfony? I have a little bit. So I actually have a static site generator that I've been working on. If you don't mind, I'm going to show you all real quick here. Called Cleaver. It uses blade components and kind of like a Laravel-esque way of creating stuff, but the actual app itself uses some Symfony components, specifically the application component, and if I can go back to it, in the source, I believe I'm using their file engines. Yeah, the file system component here and Finder components. So I have a little bit of experience with Symfony. I like the piecemeal kind of way that it works. You can put together your own framework essentially based on their components. And I'm pretty sure that's how Laravel started in the first place, was using Symfony components, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Oh, okay, where was I? Auth, login. So we have this login X-guest layout. Oh, there's the X-guest layout. So the dashboard uses X-app layout, and all of these routes use the guest layout, which is here. So then the slot is everything inside of here. That makes sense. auth card. So that's this component. And we have a slot and a logo. So we have the X slot, and this is the name for the logo. And then everything else just gets dumped into that slot component here. Okay. All right, so I'm getting the some understanding of this. I think the only thing that I need to wrap my head around is how to initialize this. I guess under this view components part here, this just magically is what renders out the blade component. So as long as this, we'll do guest here. So like this layout's guest here. This welcome view extends it, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just talking. This is my process for figuring something out. Eventually it'll click. Oh, Ben, I had no idea about that. That is awesome. Yeah, that's something that I dealt with in my last video, and I dealt with it for a couple projects since then, is that Laravel Mix doesn't support post CSS_H, so you had to add in a weird workaround repository in your package.json file, and it would work then, but yeah, not working out of the box was annoying. I wonder if they use that workaround in this package.json file here. Nope, it's just Tailwind CSS 2.0.2. So yeah, that's I guess they must have updated everything, but that's good to know. Yeah, Blade is very similar to Twig. I've noticed that. I like Blade better for the I believe the loops are different in Twig than Blade. I think Blade's syntax is cleaner for that. There's something that's cleaner than Twig is for the views. The only thing that changes is eloquent to doctrine, and even then, I'm pretty sure they're very similar. I don't know if eloquent is straight built off of doctrine, but I know that it's a very similar ORM. I don't think you're going to offend a lot of people in here by saying Laravel is better than Symfony, but I don't know. I don't know. Yee, that's another framework that I worked in. That was awful. I did that a while back, 6 or 7 years ago. I worked with a massive monolith Yee 1 application. That framework was very confusing. All right. Yeah, so let's see how this Alpine stuff works. So is it included in our app.js file? It is. So require alpine.js. Is that all we need to get that working? There's no other setup or anything with Alpine? So then we would just have this drop down blade template here. Props align right, switch align left, alignment classes. Excuse me. Oh. Okay, so this is all Alpine right here, I'm assuming. This X show, and I mean, that click is definitely a giveaway that something in JavaScript is happening right here, or something in a front-end language is happening. Okay, so content classes, that's dumped in through this up here, which depending on the alignment that you're given, switches them out. Why is that highlighting that? I don't know why this random highlighting is happening right here, but I don't like it. All right, and then the content, is, I'm assuming whatever's put in to this drop down. So we have this drop down in the navigation blade template here. X drop down. Align equals right. So all I could do is change this alignment prop, right, to like left. And what it's going to do is it's going to, I don't know why this alignment is, let me reopen this back up. I don't know why that random highlighting is happening. Okay, so it's going to take that alignment as a, I don't know why it's still highlighting. This is really annoying and really getting in the way of me looking at stuff. So I'm assuming it's going to then swap out the content classes for that, or add, oh no, it's alignment classes, not content classes. It's going to add in the alignment classes. I have no idea why this is like breaking my highlighting for this file. Maybe it's because I don't have a plugin added in for Alpine and Vue components, but it makes no sense. I wonder, do I need to have a plugin for Vue components added in? Or blade components? I don't know why I keep saying Vue components. Alpine JS support. I mean, that you can install that. That might help. I use VS Code whenever I don't need a lot of integration. So for things like update material, I don't care about that, so I'm not going to update those. Whenever I need to basically hop in a file and just have some syntax highlighting, some auto completion and stuff like that, I'll use VS Code. VS Code really shines, in my opinion, for front-end projects. If you're using it for a standalone Vue application, like an SPA or anything to do with TypeScript, it's beautiful. It works perfectly. But even for PHP, for the project that I was talking about earlier, the Cleaver project, I use it for that, and it worked great. You know, it does what it needs to do. But for really complex projects, and especially ones that use a lot of magic methods like Laravel does, or really big frameworks, even like things like WordPress, it starts to break down and it doesn't work as seamlessly as PHP Storm. And you might think, oh, I can get it to work good, which you're not wrong. There's plenty of plugins that you can do that'll mimic an IDE for it, for Laravel or another big PHP framework, and you can use it and probably not find any problems. But for me, there was just, for the like really big complex packages or sites that I work in, there was just a little things that just kept piling up that it's like, I really wish it would, you know, autocomplete this, or why is this giving this an error when it shouldn't. It should know that this model exists or this class exists, but it's because it's pulled in through like a magic method, and everything breaks down then. But just the integration that PHP Storm has with everything that's in a project is invaluable. And I haven't been able to, I've tried to pull myself away from it and use another IDE multiple times, including VS Code more than once, and I've always come back to it. Always come back to it. Yeah, they definitely take up a lot of resources. I will 100% admit that, especially when it comes to indexing, like opening up a project or doing a lot of changes and reopening up a project. My fans are gonna whir. It's gonna sound like a jet engine's taking off if I'm using a laptop, and my room's gonna get pretty warm if I'm using my PC. They definitely take up a lot of resources. I haven't used Data Grip though. I've heard that's good for like large data sets and stuff. Oh. right. I don't have anything more to cover right now. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna grab something to eat, and then I'm gonna continue recording this next video that I have for you all. We got Laravel Breeze installed up and running. Saw how, you know, nice and fast and clean and smooth it was to get going and to use, and everything that came included with it, and how nice it looks. So yeah, that's just one of the 6 that I'm gonna be covering in my next video. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be publishing it within the next few days. More specifically, most likely next week, early next week. So keep an eye out for that, and let me know if you have any questions, or if there's anything else you want to see me stream or talk about, or make a video on. I'll be more than happy to add them to my list. So thanks again for watching. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch me and support me. Have a good one.